Hello and welcome back to the Masonic Roundtable, a weekly program where Masons from around the world get together to talk about Masonic news and opinions in a friendly and social manner. As a reminder, the thoughts and opinions expressed here are solely the opinions of the participants and do not represent any Grand Lodge positions or statements. Make sure you keep your conversations open for the public and on the level. To interact with us, you can chat with us live on the Facebook stream, Good Evening Facebook, as well as on the YouTube stream, Good Evening YouTube. Let's see, today's topic is Esotericon 2020. But before we get to that, want to give a special shout out to all of the patrons who've supported the show. If you want more Masonic education for lots of time and effort, or little time and effort, head on over to patreon.com/the Masonic Roundtable to chip in a few bucks, help us out, make sure we get upgraded gear, get access to cool guys like Joe, maybe Kevin, and great to keep the show going for quite a long time. So thanks again for all our patrons who've been supporting for the years, and we do appreciate it. Let's see, you know me, my name is John Ruark. I'm a past master of the Patriot Lodge, number 1957, in Fairfax, Virginia. And now open up for quick introductions around the horn, starting with Robert Johnson. Hello, Robert.
Hello, everybody. Robert Johnson, Whence Came You podcast, and past master secretary of past master Waukegan Lodge, secretary Space Novum. Good to be with you.
Thank you. Next up, Jason Richards.
Hey everybody, Jason Richards, past master of Acacia Lodge number 16 in Clifton, Virginia, and member of the Colonial Lodge number 1821 in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Jason. And back for maybe the second time in a week, or second time, I don't know, it was just last week, wasn't it? We had Joe Martinez. Welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me, guys. Joe Martinez. I'm a member of way too many lodges, but most notably Manassas Lodge, number 182 in Manassas, Virginia, home of Esotericon, and a very proud member of Benjamin B. French Lodge, number 15, the premier esoteric lodge in the District of Columbia. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Joe. And last but not least, for tonight, the fifth Beatle, we have Kevin Homan. How are you?
I'm good. Interesting way to describe me. Thanks for having me. Good evening, everybody. I'm Kevin Homan. I am the sitting master of Olive Branch Lodge number 114 in Leesburg, Virginia, and happy to be here tonight. Long-time listener, first-time participant.
Oh, we can fix that.
No.
Yeah, there's still time to kick you off.
John, I especially appreciate you introducing Joe Martinez when we weren't going to.
Oh, that's right. We were going to leave Kevin hanging tonight, being the new guy. Part of the initiation is, okay, so tell us all the details and don't leave out anything. So with that, let's go right into tonight's topic. That's right. So Kevin, tell us all about what is Esotericon?
Oh, what is Esotericon? So the Mid-Atlantic Esotericon is, I guess, the premier Masonic esoteric conference in the country. We are on year 2. And for those of you watching tonight who participated, I think it was a little bit different this year. Thanks to our good friend coronavirus, we were 100% virtual this year.
We'll get to that. We'll get to all the details. But what is an Esotericon?
We'll get to that? Okay.
What is Esotericon? That was what I asked.
What is Esotericon? I'm sorry. It's a
Thank
place
you for following our directions.
All along. I seem to be breaking up. I think you're going to lose the connection real soon.
Oh, are you just going to... Is there going to be like a thing that pulls me out from the side of the screen?
So what's Esotericon, Kevin?
All right. Esotericon is a Masonic conference. God, I'm doing bad here. Can you just kick it to the Joe, please?
No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Hey, Kevin, what's Esotericon?
What?
What is it, Kevin?
You're breaking my balls.
No, I'll do you better. Why is Esotericon?
I'm getting so nervous here. I'm sorry. Let's try this again. Esotericon is esoteric conference, started off as a Masonic idea, but we get non-Masons alike for people to who are interested in esoteric topics to get together and learn about those topics. And this is the second year we've had it. Yeah, I guess we'll get to the virtual part later. So that's my quick and dirty introduction. Are you going to make me introduce it again, John?
So actually, I have another question for you, Kevin. What is this? What did we do last year for Esotericon? Before we get into this year's mix-up.
Well, last year we met at Manassas Lodge
in person,
Virginia. In person, yeah.
What kind of stuff did you guys do there?
Esoteric stuff.
Esoteric stuff.
I told you I'd have to kill you.
Exactly. No, we had some great speakers last year. I think RJ was one of our speakers. I hear John Ruark was one of our speakers last year. I think is that true?
One of the better ones.
Don McAndrews. Yeah. Had some good swag. Some swag was on sale throughout the day. Yeah, and then this year was quite different. Virtual.
Mm-hmm. Now, Joe. Question for you: what do you think Kevin's answer will be to what did we do this year? Or better yet, let's let Kevin answer. Kevin, what did we do this year?
We went virtual.
Okay, what's that like?
Why did we go virtual?
What's that? Why did we go virtual? Because of a little thing called coronavirus.
Say more.
So this year's conference was entirely over Zoom. Both the speakers and the tarot readings. Yeah, it was entirely virtual because of coronavirus.
Okay, so we did have speakers, right?
We did.
Mm-hmm.
We had RJ was back this year. Don McAndrews as well, one of our returning speakers. We had Joe Wages, Dave Bacon. Who else did we have?
It was just this past weekend.
Angel Millar.
I know, right? Angel Millar.
Mm.
Thanks, Joe.
Our first speaker.
Chuck Dunning.
Opened up the conference.
Yeah, Chuck Dunning was our first speaker. Thank you.
Did you have any special guests?
Did we have any special guests? We might have. We might have had a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had a past Grandmaster and a current Grandmaster. Akram Elias from the Grand Lodge of DC was there. Helped open things up for us, talking about the Masonic Legacy Society. We had Sean Bradshaw, the Grand Master of North Carolina. Joe's very own daughter, Maribel, made an appearance. She did a wonderful job, Joe. And we had the current head of Rainbow Girls in Virginia gave a quick little talk as well.
So that sounds like a very full day.
It was a very full day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'll give you a break for now. Joe.
Real quick. I got to tell you guys, if you guys want to know, after tonight's show, this is just kind of interesting the way this worked out. Was last year, after every conference I go to, I always want to rave about these things and tell the world about them. And so, after I did Camp Masonry, I went out there, I did a piece on that and I reviewed it or whatever. But last year, after Esotericon, Kevin Homan actually did a really great article for the Midnight Freemasons. It was called Esotericon, the First of Many Masonic Moonshots. And if you find the article on Midnight Freemasons, I'll try to drop a link to it in the Facebook feed. You'll see some of my brilliant, very quickly and shoddy done Facebook Photoshop work of a picture of Kevin Homan on the moon. But he did a really great article about this, and I'll put Joe on the hook because last year Kevin did the article for us for Midnight Freemasons, and this year we've got them both on tonight to talk about Esotericon, but tomorrow on Midnight Freemasons, Joe's gonna have a piece up on that also.
What?
So you guys are gonna get some
Picture,
additional
by the way.
details.
I do
yeah.
still use
Yeah.
that picture from time to time. Yeah.
You should use it in all of your Skype presentations for work. It's really professional.
Okay. I will do that.
So anyway, Esotericon was awesome, and yeah, one of the things that Kevin alluded to was the fact that we had to make the decision rather late in the planning process to move it all virtual. Even as late as May, we were still trying to figure out what the COVID-19 landscape was going to look like, and we had to ultimately make the decision to do it all online on a virtual platform. But in doing so, we were actually able to open up the conference to more people. So I think we had somewhere around 300 folks get
Yeah,
tickets to the event.
absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead,
So
John.
the exact number, was 259 that purchased tickets. And then throughout the day, wow, that's my whole face. Throughout the whole day, we had between 120 and 190 that were all in at one time. So it was a rather large event. But to your point, Jason, I mean, it was already, we were 120 over what we had on site the previous year. So, you know, to say it grew is definitely an understatement. But I think a big part of that was the ability to make it virtual. So.
And we were able to partner with the Texas Masonic Con guys, who unfortunately had to cancel their conference because of coronavirus. So, you know, we were kind of able to, you know, quickly reach out to them and get their attendees tickets for Esotericon, and you know, hopefully those guys will be able to come back next year with an in-person conference. But you know, they at least got something rather than getting nothing, unfortunately.
You know, one of the fortunate side effects of moving it to virtual is that it really dropped our costs down. And as a result of dropping our costs down, we were able to drop the ticket prices down dramatically, and literally every single cent above our costs, we ended up donating to a really great charity. So this event has raised to date over $3,500 for a rainbow charity called Give Kids the World.
Not bad for a weekend Zoom conference, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's no pancake breakfast, but let's just call it what it is: successful.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, let's underpin that. Like, so, I mean, we had the discussion. So, in case we didn't make it kind of clear, like Jason, Kevin, Kevin was involved, I think, somehow. And then Joe and myself were kind of organizing this behind the scenes. And we decided early on that, like the goal is, like, to not make a profit. Like try to get everything down to, like, almost a zero-based budget as much as we could, so that we could be as charitable as we can, right? We gotta live our obligations. And so I think that was a really...
and not pay taxes.
Well, yeah, there's that too, you know.
So if we make a profit, we have to pay a bunch of taxes. If we go under, we have to pay out of our own pockets. So literally, we just wanted to break as even as humanly possible.
Yeah. Oh, meanwhile, still having, like, a really good event, right? Because we could have just done a pancake breakfast, but we really wanted to have, like, you know, it's nice. Like if you think about, like, Steve Jobs trying to build the iPhone, right? Like, it's easy because it's something that you would want, right? And so we, early on, were kicking around, like, what is the type of conference that we would want? Right? What is that like? What would we want in an esoteric conference? And so we talked about, like, especially when we had to shift to virtual, we like, this is, like, again, after COVID's been around for a couple months, like, refracted light is doing great with, like, a whole bunch of different almost daily Masonic presentations. So, like, who would pay a little bit of money to go to an esoteric conference? You have to up your game, right? When the competition's free, you have to up your game. And again, we wanted to make sure that it was worth the time and investment to put this thing on. And so we had to do a lot of thinking about what other things could we add. So that included a full days of events. It wasn't, even though, refracted light, you might get an hour and a half long presentation, and that's about it. You can watch it later. No, we wanted it to be very interactive. We wanted it to be a really good Q&A with the presenters. We wanted a variety of presentations because everybody's into lots of different things. And then we wanted to kind of plus it up. So that's where we talked about adding in what Kevin mentioned. I think Kevin mentioned it, was the tarot reading. Like can we have some brothers of the craft who are into that kind of thing have that as an option? And so we wanted to give the option for the attendees to schedule a time to have their own little private tarot reading by a brother, and you have some fun with that, and really just kind of maybe try something new that they haven't before, right? And it's even easier in a virtual setting. So I think that went off very successful. That we pretty much filled the day, or there wasn't any gaps. There was enough interest there, but it was just something else, something special, right? Other than just as one of my coworkers calls it, just sit and get meetings. It was not a sit and get meeting. It was very interactive to the best of our ability, and we already have ideas on how to make that a little bit more interactive next year.
Yeah, one of the things I'm actually really excited about is John, Kevin, Joe, and I all run in very much the same like IT, lean startup, agile development types of circles. And so we really approached this conference from a lean startup perspective, trying to build incrementally out, have a, kind of a flat budget that equals zero at the end of the day. And then that go to lessons and compiling our lessons learned. So, we have a survey out to all of the participants, just doing a deep dive of what went well, what didn't go well, what you wish we could have done, and what you want for the future. So as we start to plan out the 2021 Mid-Atlantic Esotericon from 11 to 13 June 2021, mark your calendars now.
What?
Yes.
We are literally taking all of that feedback and building next year's event off of that feedback. And we're so excited because we have a ton of ideas to push forward to make 2021 even better than this year's was.
I feel like you guys really need to do the whole dominoes thing, like where you go knock on the doors of people who gave you terrible reviews with tickets to 21 and say, are you going to try it? You try it out and take your customer feedback to the next level and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of the surveys, like obviously a lot of it, it's anonymous, but well, not really, but how has the feedback gone so far for the last conference? A lot of good stuff.
I don't know, Kevin. You tell us. Kevin, what was that like?
This feedback's gone well. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. You like putting me on the spot, don't you?
Yeah.
No, we've been getting good feedback. I think as John indicated, people were really excited about the tarot readings, and the swag bags went really well, especially the Manly P. Hall books that everybody got in their bag. So no, we're getting good feedback on everything: speakers, tarot readings, swag, the entire conference, which is good. And we're getting some good feedback on some new things we should consider adding next year. Hopefully not speakers getting speeding tickets as they're rushing to get home to get on the conference, but other than that,
that made for a great story.
It did make for a great story, didn't it?
I have to say, oh, I'm sorry, Joe, but I just wanted to say, you mentioned, Kevin, these swag bags with the Manly P. Hall books. And what was so incredible about it, people might think like, oh yeah, I've been to, the Philosophical Research Society and I've picked up these books before, $5-6 off the, they got a little newsstand and they're just cardboard, cut out, you print them, fold them, and they staple them. And, good for them. They're, they have a whole production line there, and it's really amazing. But when I pulled these out, they were a little different, and I didn't think anything of it. And it wasn't until later I learned something really incredible about them. But I got to let Joe tell the story because it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, and that's actually one of the things I was going to talk about was the swag bag. But to before I get into that, Jason mentioned it earlier. So we wanted to make this event really special for the people, and I think we'll probably talk about this 20 more times this evening. The people who stuck with us, when we made the transition to virtual.
Because that's tough. That's really tough.
And it's a huge leap of faith. It really is. We told all the current ticket holders at the time, and to Jason's point, we told everybody really late. We were waiting to see what was going to happen. Is this going to blow over? Are we going to have to cancel everything? Because everything was booked, paid for, ready to boogie. And when we determined that we couldn't hold this event here in Virginia, we decided we'll give ticket holders the option. They can get a refund for everything except what it will cost to put the event on, the IT and the Zoom and all that stuff. Or we can put together a swag bag for you and, defray some of that money into getting you some really awesome stuff. So it included the Esotericon t-shirt, which normally you would have had to buy. So we gave all of our non-refunded ticket holders, we gave them one. And you see us all sporting them except for Kevin because he's too cool. But
too cool. Sorry.
And Robert, yes. Robert wore one that day, though. So
he did.
He did.
Because he was sitting next to me. But, so it was that. We got a lapel pin, which you have to have a lapel pin in a Masonic conference.
Obviously.
And a deck of tarot cards, right-away tarot cards, which was a big surprise. I think that was probably the second most popular thing in the swag bag besides the Manly P. Hall pamphlets was the tarot deck. So kudos to all of you who, there it is, a right-away tarot deck. Very cool deck. And then finally, the Manly P. Hall pamphlets from the Philosophical Research Society. So the cool thing that Robert mentioned before was those pamphlets that were sent to us by the Philosophical Research Society, which is a fantastic group of folks. Big shout outs to them. They loved everything that we were doing, and likewise. And they've been hit pretty hard by the shutdowns due to coronavirus and things like that. What they sent us when we ordered the pamphlets was not just stuff that, like Robert said, was sitting on the newsstand. They actually went out to the archives and pulled back all of the Manly P. Hall pamphlets that were published in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and that's what they sent to us to give to our attendees. Basically at the cost that you get them today. So people were super duper surprised by them. There is, why are you showing that one first? There is the books. Everybody got the pick of the litter. And we basically have none left. We handed them all out. So we did a grab bag kind of thing and gave you those, but people are raving and raving about them. So if you don't have those Manly P. Hall pamphlets and you did not get a swag bag, go check out the Philosophical Research Society. It is basically the home of Manly P. Hall, and where they keep all of his works. Just buy their stuff. Like I said, they're not doing tours. They're not doing tours. They're not doing any presentations there. So they need your support. So I don't want this to turn into a commercial for somebody else, but great bunch of people there.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot, Kevin. But what's your favorite MPH book?
Oh, jeez. Stop. I haven't even gotten mine yet. I haven't picked it up from Joe.
He doesn't have
that
them
sounds
yet.
like excuses.
Oh, it's with your shirt.
It is
Got
an
it.
excuse.
Got it.
It's
Just
with my shirt,
say
yeah.
Atlantis and Interpretation, favorite one.
So, but what is so cool about those papers, you guys, is that those books are the ones that, like, because they were archived, they haven't been printed for so many years that there is a chance that Hall probably touched the book, maybe have even bound it and printed it. That's what's insane about having those. I mean, they're really cool.
This one was printed in 1974. Yeah. The Mystery of the Holy Spirit, printed in 1974. Sermon on the Mount, 1961.
Like, to hear these ladies and the people talk about how they did these books, I'm telling you, after I heard from Joe, who heard from the lady, but Hall would sit there, right, and print these things in his own time. So the chances are, if you got one of these swag bags, I mean, you got something that Hall touched and printed himself, and it's pretty amazing. The Atlantis, I have a newer version. This is the older version, and I don't know if they're print. The one I have is from 2012.
No, they're
maybe?
not. They're not printing. They're not printing that particular one anymore.
Yeah,
It's
and
found to
I don't know
have some factual errors.
So, well, there you go. So
I never
if you
stopped
got the
Manly
new
P.
one-
Hall before.
Hey.
It didn't stop Manly Hall. It didn't stop Waite. It didn't stop McGregor Mathers or John D. or Ed Kelly, or the list goes on.
But you
James
digress.
Anderson. Yeah. So yeah. So as part of that, yeah, we offered folks the chance to get a full refund, a partial refund, and between the folks who gave us the partial refunds and the folks who bought the deeply discounted online only ticket, we raised $3,500 for charity, and that number is actually going up further. Because we actually had a special guest from the Rainbow Assembly give us a thanks and announce the amount of money we had raised. And we started up a team page for the charity Give Kids the World that folks are still donating to.
Mhm.
So we're well above 3,500 now.
So we got esoterics, we got charity, we got tarot readings, we got a full day of speakers. I mean, it fell together. It really did fall together nicely. And I think one thing that we like to talk about on this show, because we do lots of like con episodes, and we were even debating, should we do an Esotericon episode? But I think it's important to note that this is different enough. And if one brother or one set of people can listen and say, I should put on something like that. Like that's the whole point. We're sharing the information of like what went well, what didn't go so well, where do we have to change course, things to try, what feedback we got. I mean, that's what we want you to take away from this episode, is to think about it is possible, even in a COVID environment, to have some really good presentations, some really good fellowship. You just got to be creative.
John, so you usually are the guy who bounces around the hosts and direct this. And I'm going to take over for this for a second, because really you fellas are the ones who planned this and put it on. So if you're watching at home, these dudes really put a lot of this together. And, well, was it just the
like
four
all
of you,
of
right?
this together? It's just the four of us.
So
yeah.
just the four of you did this. So I'm going to go around
Mostly Joe.
the clock here, and then hit,
Mostly Joe.
and then I'm going to hit John last. But I'll go around, and I want to know your favorite thing about this year's Esoteric Conference, and then something that, actually, I don't want to know the other thing. I want to know your favorite thing about this year's conference. I'll start with Jason.
Martinez, the esoteric significance of the rainbow. It was a 5 to 10 minute presentation done by Joe's daughter that blends esoteric philosophy with her own Masonic youth group, and it was the literal best presentation of the entire day, and it puts my comparative flood mythology piece to shame.
Fair enough. All right. It was a wonderful presentation. In fact, I actually asked Maribel and Joe and Barb, I said, hey, would you guys be cool if I asked Maribel if I could play that at the Chicago Masonicon coming up in September? And
Nice.
They said yes. So I asked Maribel, and she's stoked to do it too. So absolutely. To hear the esoteric stuff come out of not only the youth, but to be attributed to a youth organization, which usually doesn't get much play at all, right? Nobody talks about that stuff. So that was really awesome. How about you, Joe? What was your favorite part this year, besides, having a lot on your plate?
Yes, it was a busy time. Well, definitely I'd say there were two. Having you and the family here was probably awesome and probably saved my soul a couple of times. Yeah, no, it was a busy day, but I think besides Maribel, who totally blew my mind, and she wrote all of that herself, and I was completely floored by it. I mean, she is an old soul, and she's got a lot more stuff in her head than her dad does, which I think is the goal of every parent. But I think the fact that we were able to shift and move and actually have an event, because when we started this all last year, the big impetus was everybody's doing conferences. There's a conference here, there's a conference there, but there's nothing solely dedicated to esotericism and the hidden stuff and the mysteries, and something that just it's for that niche only. And just the fact that we're able to get not only enough support to have one last year, but to have enough support in a virtual environment to have one this year, it blows my mind, and it gives me hope. You know what I mean? Jason said it during the conference. We were building this plane, in mid-flight, and we really were, because this was a new thing for us. But I think just the fact that it went as well as people are saying it went in the surveys, it is just a really fantastic moment for all of us, including myself, because we were crapping our pants the whole time. We were like, is this going to go well? Are people going to complain? What's going to happen? Is this going to go smoothly? And it did. All the pieces fell into place, and it went wonderful. And we did more this year than we were able to do the last year.
True.
And we weren't together in person, and it just blew my mind. So that was the big moment for me, was being able to do it well, and do more than we did last year. That just blew my mind.
Amazing. Over to Kevin. What do you got, my man?
I'm going to go with the tarot reading. I think that was one of the big key takeaways from last year in terms of feedback we got was, between speakers, there was a lot of kind of downtime and how to fill that. And that was kind of how we had decided to fill it. Obviously, it became a little different this year because we went completely virtual. So, how does the downtime work out between speakers? But, I really enjoyed it. I had my tarot reading with Angel, and it was my first ever one, and I really enjoyed it. And it's just because I really, I appreciated Dave Bacon's talk as well, just because I felt like his topic was very timely for just everything going on in the world right now.
And what was his topic?
And I won't say any more than that. I'm sorry, what was that, John?
Say more, Kevin.
What was that?
What was his topic? What did Dave Bacon talk about?
Perception versus reality. So, how
when it comes
to
symbolic interpretation.
Yes, and I thought it was very relevant for what's going on these days.
Yeah, I have to agree. I thought his presentation was timely on that as well. Anybody who's been on social media can definitely relate. For sure, the tarot readings I thought were an excellent idea as well, just because, at these esoteric conferences last year, you have people talking to you about a concept. And here we had finally a practical example of some actual esoteric practice being completed in front of you and for you. So that was really awesome. John, how about you?
Saving the best for last. No, let me start off with a story. I told Jason and a few of you guys maybe about a year ago, at least about 8 months ago. I had a really cool dream. It was an actual dream where I dreamt that as a grown adult, that I was going and attending like a real life Hogwarts, like a real life Harry Potter land. But what it was an occult school. And so you had people doing like actual alchemy. That was a class. And you had a class that was just on meditation. You had a class on like Christian mysticism. And when I woke up, I was like, no kidding, legit disappointed. I was like, that's like Disney. That's like my Disneyland. Like, how cool would that be? And so like when you ever get like emotionally attached to a dream, you're like, I want to get right back in there. I want to hop right back in, try to fall right back asleep. So I wouldn't say that's the bar that I am kind of setting, but like that's the vision, right? That's the goal, is that if you're going to have an esoteric conference, that it's not all one occult thing that like people are really into. Like there's a variety of things because everyone comes at the mysteries from a different viewpoint. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, really, basically that was your presentation, Robert. So there you go. I saved you, most of your Saturday. But I think that's also should continue to be the vision, right? As we go forward, like what can we do better next year that gets us to, a greater variety of speakers, maybe more tracks, maybe the tarot thing was like a new experiment we ran, and that it let us try something at a very low cost to see if there was any interest, and then there's something that we're going to experiment next year, right? We're getting feedback on how those went, good enough to probably do it again next year. Now we might try something else, like we might do a guided meditation thing next year. We might do, if we can do it in person or not in person. So to directly answer your question, I think the tarot readings, while I didn't get a chance to get one, I think it was a nice touch to just start building up one more thing, build up that conference, and not be stale, not be okay with the status quo, and just try to bump that up a little bit more. So
another
what I'm
thing
hearing
that
is
was another thing that was absolutely was Angel Millar's presentation. As part of Angel's presentation, he led us through a number of deep breathing contemplative exercises. So we actually had meditation. It really wasn't pre-planned on our parts, but it was a part of the experience, which I thought was also amazing.
Speaking of Angel, should we bring in a bed of nails next year?
Yes. Yeah. Doing the tarot readings is a market differentiator. A bed of nails is another one.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
And there we go.
We'll write
For those of you who weren't there, Angel talked about his experience with contemplative practices and lying on a bed of nails, and
he showed it off, and it looked like it hurt.
That's not something I need to try ever.
Now, I was just going to tack
Joe.
on to what John was saying, and while we were joking with Kevin at the beginning, I think the why escaped us a little bit, and I think you started to touch on the why of Esotericon. Why are we doing this, and why is it such a niche focused thing? Why not have a big generic Masonic conference? And the answer is because every single person that has their face on a screen right now this is what Freemasonry is to them. This is the reason why we will, skip out on, dinner at home with the family and go hang out with a bunch of guys and, or gals or whatever and talk about stuff, is because this is what we're looking for and we're not getting it. So we have to make it its own thing and put it in a box and package it and sell it to you, which is a damn shame. It really is. At the end of the day, I wish we didn't have to do this.
Right. Yep.
We do, and it's going so well, and just the interest alone, I think, speaks enough to the reason why we need to do it, and why we need to continue to do it, in whatever format we decide as a group. Do we go virtual next year? Are things going to be wonky? Do we do a combination of both? We don't know, but the fact that we need to keep doing this is what's, I think, going to drive every single person here to keep putting impetus into it, because it's sorely needed.
That. I mean, because we do not have the answer right now, but there are pros and cons, right? We've got some feedback. We've done one in person and we've done one virtually, and who knows what a year from now COVID is going to look like. But what do you think the options could be?
Could be both.
Well, I think the biggest feedback we've gotten, and Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, is a combination of please do, because I'm never wrong.
No.
Is a combination of the two, having an in-person event, as well as streaming it in some sort of closed format. Let's get that out of the way right now, because I know some people were complaining about it and some people thought it was a great idea. For those that weren't there, we moved to a webinar format instead of an open conference call format.
Yeah, it's not your traditional Zoom meeting. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was more of a webinar.
Which I think, Joe, most people appreciated, right? Because everybody was muted except for the speaker, and we didn't have the typical Zoom webinar issues, right?
Hey, your mic's still on. Could you? Hey, can someone call Kevin and tell him to turn off his mic? Okay, tell you what. Hey, who knows how to block? Who knows how to block that person? Oh, I'm the host, but I don't know how to. I don't know what that is. I'm new to this tech thing.
I hear water running in the background.
Yes.
What is that?
Who's in the bathroom?
You had a toilet flushing?
That's one of the things that I was probably most nervous about as far as this conference was concerned was the technology, and we had to make a hard decision on do we allow folks the freedom and the additional interaction that comes with that and the headaches that come with that, or do we do a webinar format where we limit the side conversation interaction and we make the speakers the main focus. Yeah. And honestly, it went a lot better than I could have ever imagined as far as choosing that webinar format.
Yeah, and I think the feedback we got specifically when we asked the question in the survey, like, okay, we get it, it was virtual, but like, what did you like or didn't like about the virtual thing? And most people were like, hey, we understand. And if it could have been any better, it would have just been like to physically be together. And that's something that, you just couldn't do this year. So it's the next best thing, right? It's just like we say with TMR and all these other things. It's like, it's not a replacement for in-person fraternalism, but it's close enough for the sacrifices you make.
But I also think it opens it up to people who may not be able to make it out to Northern Virginia, right? Like first year, we had one person from Canada, we had somebody from Washington, Seattle, I think, and a couple guys from Nevada. Not everybody is able to do that. So by having the Zoom option, we enable more people from, way outside this area to participate, which I think is a good thing.
Well,
and we are limited by our facilities.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think that, and again, I think, Kevin, we were talking about this on Saturday. I don't think the sidebar discussion and chatting actually went away. I mean, if you looked at the chat box, which we let attendees talk to each other. I know you go to some webinars and you can just talk to the host or the panelists and stuff. We let people converse, and we were like, all right, if this starts to go off the rails, we're going to turn it off. But people were continuing discussions about presentations in real time, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And they didn't stop talking even during the breaks. People kept going and discussing and learning from one another. It was super amazing. I mean, the Q&A was just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, that's a good point, because the sidebar, we got an awesome reading list for every attendee that we just sent out to them, right? Like, I can't even tell you how many books off the top of my head are, but it's a lot of books for people to read. And John's favorite show, Lodge 49, was also
it's over 50 different books, because I compiled the list from the chat. Yeah. Yeah, we were waiting on a speaker who was running late, and so we're like, hey, what's everybody reading? And we packaged all of those books up with links to where to go get them and send them out to the folks who attended.
That's so phenomenal. I was going to say that, a few years ago when we first went to Masonicon, they live streamed some stuff to Facebook. They filmed some stuff for local cable access even. And that was just amazing. And then seeing the in-person event here for Esotericon last year, the 100% this year. And, I had to offer a digital pivot option. We're only allowed to have X amount of people in the building for Masonicon Chicago. So because of that, I had to cut off. We had exactly right about the number we could have for in-person attendance for MasonicCon Chicago. So what I then did was we opened it up for a digital executive pass for the event, which also includes some really great stuff. And what I found was that it's really split. I offered some refunds to people if they wanted to switch to that, if they didn't feel comfortable going. And what I found is about 50% of the people still want to come and 50% want to go digital. So there's no clear delineator here to say, which one is better, because really what we're playing with is people's comfort level. So honestly, having seen MasonicCon do a Facebook Live, YouTube, cable access, they had all kinds of weird stuff going on, but they started all this stuff. So hat tip to them. But the entire thing is that having the option available, and what Kevin mentioned with people who can't always make it, we've got some amazing fans of this show in particular who can't always travel for a number of reasons. And I know for them, that digital option had COVID not even been a thing, they would have been all over it because they love the content. And so I think the future of this thing is to be able to have some sort of videoed presentation along with. Now you got to have a camera guy too. So get ready to pay for that, or have somebody volunteer. But I thought this year's event, the way you guys did it with webinar, was so amazing. Yeah, it was worth every penny, in my opinion, to not hear once. You're muted.
It's funny you say that, because culturally that's where we are right now with the 4 months or so of lockdown, is that we have all in some way, shape, or form lived through bad online experiences, right? And you could always say, well, this whole TMR thing, yeah, it's good, but it's no lodge, and we've never said that. But at the same time, like, now this is when all you've got. When now we've got anyone with a Zoom account can fire up a meeting, and we've seen it even in Masonry, fire up really bad meetings.
Matt Parker.
Yeah. Jeez. Don't give that man a hang glider.
And his hang glider. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Kevin, tell me more about his hang glider, actually. That'd be great.
Oh, no. Doesn't everybody not know this? Matt Parker is a professional hang glider. I mean, I think he's won multiple national championships or something like that. He's if you're in North Carolina and you want to learn how to hang glide, go see Matt Parker. He'll take care of you.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Thank you.
Okay,
you have to wear a kilt, though, I think, right? You have to wear a kilt when you hang glide with Matt Parker?
The breeze is amazing. Okay, so we're at that point in the show where we should start wrapping things up. So let's head over to, let's see, shameless plugs, final thoughts, and we'll start with Robert to reverse host him and ask him how his experience was as an attendee / presenter, rather than trying to organize one of these things, because I'm sure you were taking copious notes getting ready for the Chicago MasonicCon.
Number one, you guys are like Esotericon on the technology front, and because I talk to you guys a whole lot more, and Brian Simmons of MasonicCon and all these, you guys have blazed trails, my dudes. You guys have blazed trails, my dudes. Sorry, that was a big mouth reference. Yeah, like I've learned like every way to do this really from you guys and asking questions. My favorite part of the conference as an attendee was definitely, all right, so I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but my top presentations are, of course, Maribel, because I had never heard anything like that ever. And so that was up there. And Chuck Dunning's presentation that he gave, which was called You Are the Mysteries. And I just thought those were great. The technology went off and it was perfect. The camaraderie in the side comments, as you were talking about, nobody that I know of, right? I mean, I was, as an attendee, I couldn't see like controls like that. So, but from what I could see, everybody was cordial. Everybody was super cool. We were laughing with each other and joking on each other. It was really fun. It was just like being in lodge without the weird platitudes. So yeah, I thought it was just fantastic. I can't wait when Joe told me that y'all already had a date picked out for 2021. I was like the Grinch. My heart grew 3 sizes that day, or however many sizes they say. It was really awesome. And of course, I would totally be, lying to you if I said this whole thing for me was a little serendipitous. We, at the drop of a hat, were like, oh, uh, Maribel had said something like, "When's Rob and Corey coming out to visit?" And it was right at the same time we had some time off coming up for a family vacation that had to get canceled because of COVID. And my wife and I were like, I don't know. And so I messaged Joe. I said, why don't I just come out and help you out with Esotericon? And we drove 12 hours. And, we social distance and, no symptoms on either side. So we said, what the hell? And it was just an amazing weekend to hang out with Joe and be in the state with so much amazing, you 4 guys all in the Virginia, D.C. area. Like, it was just power. So kudos to all you guys, really. To you guys, hats off, not worthy, trailblazers, all the stuff. You guys are all kick-ass. Sorry, I swore on the show.
Well, I think I know a guy who can
We can
edit
bleep
that
it out.
in post. Hey, but again, thank you for an awesome presentation, one of my favorites. And
It was good.
and also, I mean, hey, here's your chance, Robert. Why don't you plug Chicago Masonicon?
Oh, sure. Masonicon Chicago, September 18, 19. Live in-person tickets sold out due to capacity issues. I had the fire marshal come out. He said, hey, you can do 50 upstairs and 50 people downstairs, but you got to have people counting and all this stuff. So we had to cut off live in-person stuff, but we're going to have Silas Shepherd Research Lodge there selling some great books. We're going to have Carlos Hernandez, Ascended Masters will be there selling stuff, and a few other vendors. So that'll be really great. We've got 11 speakers plus Maribel, who's going to be there via video. So 12 people are going to come out or be there virtually to present to everybody. And so if you still want to attend, Masonicon Chicago, grab a digital executive pass and check out all the stuff that comes with, and you'll get a mailed swag bag. Why did I think about doing that? Well, because your Esotericon boys, they set the standard, they set the bar. So when your friends set the bar, you got to meet it. So check it out.
Look at that proud papa smile on Joe whenever Maribel's name comes up.
Oh,
I really
Maribel.
like
And
that.
he should, because his kids
He
are
should.
friggin'
Dude.
geniuses, yo.
She was awesome.
Awesome. Okay, let's go over to Kevin. Tell me everything about the show.
Everything about the show. Okay.
Everything about the show.
I got nothing to talk about because, like you guys, I got nothing else. So, go to Chicago Masonicon. No, thanks for having me on. I've been nervous as hell doing this. I've never done this before, so
It's not like we put you on the spot tonight.
No, I didn't.
No,
I didn't totally
yeah.
just throw you under the bus. So
Not at all, and
Multiple
I
times.
appreciate it, guys.
It wasn't premeditated at all.
yeah.
I don't imagine it was, so I appreciate it, guys.
How do you spell your last name?
Just look at YouTube. It's whatever's on YouTube is probably the right way to spell it. Thanks, John.
It is now because I fixed it.
Oh, what a nice guy.
Oh, no, damn it. RJ, you're so sweet. No, guys. Seriously though, I appreciate you guys having me on. This was fun. Even though I was nervous as hell and probably your worst guest ever, I had fun.
Trust me, after 309 episodes, you're definitely not the worst. Close.
Yeah, close.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Mr. Martinez.
What?
How are you?
Hi. Yeah, I'm really glad this weekend is over. That was a most stressful week, but it was probably one of the funnest weeks I've had during this whole coronavirus pandemic. So, again, I'm going to repeat what Jason said. We built it while in flight, and I think it went off without a hitch. It was absolutely phenomenal. The presenters were fantastic. The tarot readings were off the charts. You can still get tarot readings from Jamie Paul Lamb or Angel Millar if you email them. So if you see them on Facebook first or email, reach out to them. They do phenomenal readings. The attendees, the support, the love, and the charity blew my mind. That is what Masonry is to me. So all the best parts of Freemasonry we got to do all in one day, and we got to do it virtually. And the last thing I'll say is a point that you made, John. The reason why I love this so much, and I think that we all love this so much, but I don't want to speak for you, is that we get to highlight all the different paths to go up to the top of the mountain, right? There's not just one path to the top of the mountain. There's a path on this side and on this side and in the front and the back and everything in between. And we don't stick to one particular thing. We highlight all these awesome little nuggets of ways to get up the mountain, and we do it with a group of people that are just eager to learn and eager to be a part. And again, it gives me a reason to continue to be a Freemason, because a lot of Freemasonry you see out there is just boring garbage. So this definitely gives me a reason to keep going. So that's my kudos to Esotericon, and shameless plug for all of us, since we're all admins. Refracted Light, if you're looking for Masonic education, we're doing something there at least 3 or 4 nights a week during the coronavirus quarantine. So if you're looking for something to do, you'll probably find a presentation on Refracted Light. So, and again, thank you to the TMR guys for all of their support, and Refracted Light could not have done it without you. So thank you again.
Cool. I think we have a new Esotericon 2021 tagline: better than boring garbage. So,
yeah. And answer all the Refracted Light questions too, please.
Yes.
If you're going to join. Answer the questions. Hey, John, I have 2 quick go backs if you don't mind.
Kevin, I don't know. I don't want to put you on the spot or anything. So if you don't mind,
that's
is he going to talk again?
Yeah, I'm going to talk again. No, so 2 things. One, what Joe said, Jamie Paul Lamb, buy his book, Approaching the Middle Chamber, please. It's a great book. Go get it. 2, RJ brought up Carl and Ascendant Masters. We are still doing Esotericon 2020 t-shirts. Joe, how many more? Do we know how many more shirt orders he needs to put another order to print them? Because if you
17.
want one, you can still.
17. Okay.
Yeah. So buy a shirt if you haven't got one already.
Alrighty. Okay. Do we? Thanks, Kevin. Over to Jason.
All right. This was an absolutely amazing event, and we had a good question on YouTube that was basically like, do you guys ever think you'll see this thing as a kind of commonplace in lodges? And my answer to that really was no, because the real reason why oh shush, John, you're fine. Don't speak at me. Don't look at me with that tone of voice. The fact of the matter is, we created this event partially because it wasn't the Masonic experience we were getting. in our own lodges. And I would love to see this kind of thing be commonplace in lodges around the world. But I think there's a preponderance of Freemasons and Freemasonry that where esoterics just doesn't fit into their Masonic experience, which is why I think the Esotericon as an event, as a movement, is just so hugely important, because it's it's a path of Freemasonry, and it's an important one. So the reason why the conference is going to keep exist, I think, is because of the value proposition, that you don't find it in your everyday lodge. So
There
thanks
you
for
go.
watching the show. Back to you, John.
Sweet. All right, so before I go to me, Kevin, is there anything else that you wanted to mention or anything?
No, that's all.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
got
Good.
literally nothing else.
Just wanted to make sure you had a chance.
Thank you, though. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Okay, good.
Hey, can Joe talk about Give Kids the World?
Joe, do you want to give the kids the world?
Damn right I do. So yeah, thank you, Jason. So I know we mentioned it a couple times, but so the charity we were donating to, Give Kids the World, it's a village in Orlando, Florida, that takes critically and terminally ill children and their families and gives them a week-long vacation in a place that's safe for children with, again, critical or terminal illnesses. And it was our rainbow charity this year. They raised a total of $16,000, including what was donated by the Esotericon attendees. So it brings me to tears every time I say it or hear it. $9,000 sends a family for a week. So we've decided, and the attendees decided, to continue to donate. So we have a fundraising page on the Give Kids the World website. You can check it out on our Facebook page. There's a link there. We're $2,000 short from sending a second family. So we would like to send 2 families because it's better to do things in pairs. So I'll put it up on YouTube as well, and I will continue to blast it out to you in Facebook land so you see it. But we have a mission to do this by the end of the year. So we're going to get it done. So again, thank you for allowing me to mention that charity, which is truly awesome.
Sweet. That's amazing. Awesome. So thanks again. Okay, over to me. Let's see. Great presentation, great conference. Yeah, just back to, it's not about us. It's not about how look at us and how great this whole conference thing went off. It was really the spirit of getting together in a disconnected world right now. It's the spirit of trying something new. It's the spirit of, well, what a lot of us are here for is the philosophy and symbolism and esotericism that lets us together as a group of weirdos go down the rabbit hole, and that's fun. It's fun when you get together with people of like mind, and as Robert said, what was nice is that there wasn't any problems, that everyone had a high sense of camaraderie, and it was just an all around good day. And so let's keep that going. Let's keep that positive energy going. And that's really what makes this type of activity so much fun. So that's it. I had a great time, and I'm looking forward to doing it both virtually and hopefully in person next year as well. So let's try to make that happen. Wear your masks. Be safe. Don't cough on people. Okay? That's it. That's all I got. See you next week. Thank you very much for watching, and keep searching for more light. Have a good night.